Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Sarah Hamilton, and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. President Donald Trump has declared he will accept nothing less than unconditional surrender from Iran. In a recent statement on social media, Trump said that the United States will not engage in negotiations with Iran unless the nation agrees to unconditional surrender. In an interview, President Trump emphasized that he is not concerned about whether Iran becomes a democratic state. Instead, he is focused on securing leadership that aligns with U.S. and Israeli interests. The conflict has already caused significant disruption across the Middle East, with Israeli warplanes targeting Hezbollah sites in Lebanon and launching strikes on Tehran. Oil prices have surged as a result of the conflict, with disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz affecting global energy supplies. In related news, AAA reported that the average price of a gallon of gasoline increased 11 cents overnight. U.S. crude oil reportedly increased by 8.6% to $77.36 per barrel and rising. These levels were not previously seen in more than a year. 20% of the global oil supply and tanker traffic comes through the Strait of Hormuz at the southern end of the Persian Gulf and has significantly dropped amid a disruption of satellite navigation systems since reported attacks on several vessels in the area. In the midst of the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran, a small ray of goodwill shined bright. A New England's Patriots plane was used to get hundreds of Americans home from the Middle East after they were stranded there. A State Department official shared a photo of people boarding the jet, which landed in Washington, D.C. last Friday morning. Assistant Secretary of State for Global Public Affairs, Dylan Johnson, said it was one of many State Department charter flights leaving the Middle East for the U.S. The State Department said it paid for the plane, which is a part of a charter company's fleet that the government uses. The Boeing 767 is painted with the team logo and colors, as well as 6 championship trophies on the tail. You may or may not remember the show The Brady Bunch, but you might remember the house that was part of TV history. The modest mid-century home has now become a Los Angeles landmark. The LA City Council voted unanimously last week to designate the so-called Brady Bunch house in the San Fernando Valley as a historic cultural monument. The vote grants landmark protections to the house on Dilling Avenue that was used for exterior shots of the TV sitcom that ran from 1969 to 1974. Interior scenes were shot on a soundstage with sets that bore no resemblance to the property that became a photo op magnet for the Brady Bunch fans. The show, which lived on for decades in syndication, featured the daily lives of a family of 6 blended family siblings. The landmark status protects the home built in 1959 from demolition or major renovations. A major food recall has expanded to include millions more pounds of frozen products sold at several major grocery chains. The U.S. Department of Agricultural Food and Safety and Inspection Service says Animoto Foods North America has expanded a recall of frozen chicken fried rice and related products that may contain pieces of glass. The recall now totals nearly 37 million pounds of food, including items sold under the Trader Joe's Ling Ling, Tay Pie, and Kroger labels. Officials say the contamination may have come from a vegetable ingredient, specifically carrots. The products were produced between September and November of 2025. The recall was triggered after several consumer complaints about glass found in their food. No injuries have been reported, but officials warn the products may still be in people's freezers and say they should be thrown away or returned to the store. Thanks for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more after the break.
Hi, I'm State Representative Bruce Ayers, and I'd like to introduce you to the Helping Hand program. With rising healthcare costs, all too often we hear stories about our seniors, veterans, and neighbors who may not have the proper insurance coverage they need for durable medical equipment. These individuals may be living on a fixed income and may not have the financial resources necessary to cover the costs of the equipment they need. We have a solution. The Helping Hand program provides free, durable medical equipment to residents in need. Items such as wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, canes, commodes, tub seats, and hospital beds are available through the program. We receive donations of lightly used equipment and store them at our facility in North Quincy. If you're in need of any of these items, you can pick them up free of charge and return them after any length of time.
My scooters improve my mobility and independence. Thanks to Helping Hand, I can go to the store, visit the boardwalk, and do so much more.
Helping Hand is a great resource for people who don't have insurance coverage.
The Helping Hand program is successful. thanks to the generosity of people who have donated durable medical equipment to our inventory. For more information about the program or to fill out an equipment request form, visit our website or call 617-472-9877. If you know someone in need of these items, we're always available to lend a helping hand.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Sarah Hamilton. Now we'll be getting into more stories. The Braintree Planning Board is reviewing a proposal for a major new apartment development in South Braintree. The project, called Hollingsworth Pond Apartments, would bring 752 units to a 26-acre industrial site off Plain Street. Plans call for 6 four-story buildings with apartments ranging from studios to 3 bedrooms. About 76 of the units would be designated as affordable housing, as required by state law. The development would also include more than 1,100 parking spaces, along with amenities like a swimming pool and playground. The roughly $230 million project is being proposed by Trammell Crow Residential and would be the first built under Braintree's new zoning tied to the MBTA Communities Act, which encourages multifamily housing near transit. Town officials estimate the development could generate about $1.2 million in annual tax revenue. The proposal still needs site plan approval and additional reviews before moving forward. Attorney Frank Marinelli, representing Trammell Crow Properties, was at the meeting presenting some revisions to the site that was requested by the Planning Board. Here's more from Attorney Marinelli.
Good evening, Chair Crowhar and members of the Planning Board. Frank Marinelli, pleased to represent Trammell Crow Residential. With me is our team, who you've seen through the past months of hearings, Emily White and also Mark Baranski. We have met since the circulation of the draft conditions. There are 81 draft conditions for approval. We've met several times by Zoom and in person with the staff, who have assimilated various requests of various departments that we're going to go through. Just briefly to recap, because I know that the staff will want to discuss the conditions with you, and then we're happy to answer any questions. But our slide presentation for tonight, as you know, the development is a transformation of 30 years of blight at a decade-old factory site, the former Armstrong site, into a $300 million investment, a residential community that is developed by Trammell Crow, the largest private residential developer in the country, who has developed over 300,000 residences. And certainly we're fortunate in Braintree to have a company like this take a site, a challenging site like this, and be able to produce direly needed housing and economic development. And this is certainly the greatest housing and economic development in decades in the town, and it's great to see Braintree take the lead on that with the MBTA Communities Act and the requirements of that law. So our development is buildings 1A and 1B, 2, 3, 4A and 4B on the left side of the site, and phase 2 is that's 427 residences, and phase 2 is the building on the right that borders Mahar. This is the agenda with the existing condition, the proposed condition, and then Mark is going to talk about the mitigation schedule, and then we have the proposed park that borders on Plain Street. This is a look at the site that you've seen through the past months, the old decrepit factory site and blight that has existed there for many years and just had 2 uses, the Registry of Motor Vehicles and Bay State Gym. That's on the left. On the right is the proposed redevelopment. As the board knows, the River Walk project, which the dam restoration project, which was done with public money, really opened up the ability for Trammell to come in and spend the millions of dollars that they've spent on due diligence and soft costs to be able to develop this residential community around the public amenity, which is the Manatequit River, and having that river flow again for the first time in 200 years with the elimination of the dam. And the River Walk that goes through there now is a public easement and will be a public amenity and maintained by the town, with contribution that is also in the decisions by the applicant.
To watch the Braintree Planning Board meeting, tune into BCAM TV Government Channel, Channel 8 on Comcast, and Channel 26 on Verizon, and check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/bcamtv. A local animal rescue is inviting the community to help support cats in need. The Neponset Valley Humane Society will host its annual Cat Tillion fundraiser on Friday, April 11th in Braintree. The dinner and dance event raises money to help care for rescued cats throughout the Neponset Valley. The organization operates without a physical shelter, relying instead on volunteer foster homes to care for animals until they are adopted. Organizers say the fundraiser helps cover medical care, food, and supplies for cats waiting for permanent homes. The event will take place at the Sons of Italy Lodge and will include dinner, live music from the Reminiscence, raffles, and other activities. Tickets and more information are available on the Neponset Valley Humane Society website. The Braintree Veterans Service Center has announced that the Veterans Pantry is back up and running. The pantry is now accepting donations of new clothing, toiletries, and non-perishable food items, all of which go directly towards supporting local veterans in need. The pantry serves veterans in Braintree, Holbrook, and Avon. Donations can be dropped off at the Veterans Service Center located at 74 Pond Street in Braintree. Town officials say the reopening of the pantry ensures veterans continue to have access to essential resources and support within the community. They may be cute and cuddly, but therapy dogs perform sometimes life-saving missions, and now a firefighter is trying to bring canine help to first responders in Braintree and beyond. Andrew Leanweaver has launched a crowdsourcing campaign to pay for the fire department's adoption and training of a therapy dog named Hallie Halligan. Leanweaver, a 20-plus-year veteran of the department, hopes to harness Hallie in a program of free support for emergency responders. In a GoFundMe organized by Leanweaver, he wrote, "This dog will serve as a resource for all first responders and public servants in Braintree and the surrounding communities." The fire department is supporting the therapy dog program, but all training and ongoing care will be funded exclusively through donations. The independent effort has set a goal of raising $7,000 and currently has surpassed the halfway mark. Here's a look at what's happening around Braintree. At their public library on Tuesday, March 10th, learn how to write a novel or publish your memoirs with writer Stephen A. White at 6 p.m. in the Logan Auditorium. Then on Wednesday, March 11th, virtual job search with resume and LinkedIn coach Virginia Franco will take place via Zoom at 9 a.m. To register or for more information, visit the library's website at theirpubliclibrary.libcal.com. The Braintree Recreation Department is offering a Central Rock Gym climbing clinic, now through March 25th. In addition, Super Soccer Stars is hosting youth soccer sessions, now through March 28th at the Liberty Elementary School gym, focusing on skill building and teamwork in a fun, supportive environment. For more information, call the Recreation Department at 781-794-8900. And that's your weekly snapshot. Thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more stories in the area. The Braintree Senior Center has a full lineup of activities and programs this March for residents aged 60 and older. From weekly social gatherings to special events and educational programs, there are plenty of opportunities for seniors in the community to stay active and connected. The center also offers a variety of weekly activities. Fitness classes are available daily. On Mondays, residents can attend bocce coffee hour at 9:30, the walking group at 10, men's coffee hour at 11, and pool players at noon. Tuesdays feature game days from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. On Wednesdays, the Asian Outreach Group meets at 11, followed by GEMS exercise at 1. Thursdays include quilting at 11:30, pool lessons at 12:30, and knitting at 1. And on Fridays, pool players meet at noon, and movies are shown at 12:30. Several special events are also scheduled throughout the month. Upcoming programs include a St. Patrick's Day celebration with an Irish band on March 13th and a chat with Senator Keenan on March 16th. The center will also host a St. Patrick's Day boiled dinner on March 17th, along with a spa day, book club meeting, and technology class on March 20th. Later in the month, residents can attend a fraud prevention presentation from South Shore Bank on March 25th, a craft class on March 30th, and the Just Lunch program and Alzheimer's support group on March 31st. For more information or to sign up for any of these programs, residents are encouraged to contact the Braintree Senior Center directly. The center is located at 71 Cleveland Avenue in Braintree and can be reached by phone at 781-848-1963. Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now let's get right into more stories. The U.S. Coast has suspended its search for a second victim of capsized fishing boat, the Yankee Rose, near Race Point in Provincetown. Rescuers had recovered one person from the water, who later died. Coast Guard Commander Thomas Whelan said after 21 hours of continuous searching by the Coast Guard for the person who went missing after the Yankee Rose capsized, the search has been suspended as of 1:27 p.m. We express our deepest condolences for the family and loved ones. It is not clear how the New Bedford-based fishing vessel capsized. Provincetown Town Manager Alex Morse said in a statement, "The fishing community is a close-knit one, where the dangers of the sea are well understood and deeply respected. We know the loss of these fellow fishermen will no doubt be deeply felt by many here who share that bond." Quincy's fired Elder Services Director, Tom Clasby, was in court on Monday, March 2nd, and pleaded guilty to multiple counts of fraud and theft of federal funds that officials say he spent on steak tips, a Prius, and a recording studio session, among other things. Attorneys for the prosecution and defense told a judge last October that both sides were negotiating a plea deal involving 12 to 18 months in prison and around $150,000 in restitution penalties. Investigators say he embezzled more than $120,000 in cash and material goods from the city between 2020 to 2024. In April of 2024, Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch placed Clasby, a close personal friend, on leave, citing financial irregularities. A month later, he fired Clasby in the midst of an internal audit and police investigation. In January 2025, Clasby pleaded not guilty to one count of theft concerning a program receiving federal funds, 2 counts of wire fraud, 5 counts of mail fraud, and 4 counts of transporting stolen property. A Scituate man has been indicted in connection with the death of a Maine man whose body was found in a car outside South Shore Hospital last summer. According to the Plymouth County District Attorney's Office, a grand jury indicted 42-year-old Christopher Caron on a charge of murder in the death of Declan Perry, a 27-year-old from Maine. Prosecutors say Perry traveled to Massachusetts in August of 2025 to meet Caron. Investigators say the two later purchased drugs in Boston and returned to a home in Scituate. Authorities say Perry was later found unresponsive, and despite attempts to administer Narcan, he died. Prosecutors allege Caron wrapped Perry's body in blankets, placed it in Perry's car, and drove it to the emergency room entrance at South Shore Hospital before leaving the scene. Hospital staff discovered the body inside the vehicle on August 23rd. Caron later turned himself in to police and had previously pleaded not guilty. He remains held without bail and will appear in Superior Court at a later date. A trial is set to begin in the decades-old murder of a Kingston teenager. Michael Hand is accused of killing Tracy Gilpin, a 15-year-old from Kingston, in 1986. Gilpin, a student at Silver Lake Regional High School, was last seen walking home from a convenience store after a party on October 1st of that year. Her body was later found in a shallow grave near Miles Standish State Forest. Prosecutors say Hand dropped a large rock onto Gilpin during the attack. The case remained unsolved for more than 3 decades until Hand was arrested in North Carolina in 2018. Jury selection in the trial is scheduled to begin March 9th at Brockton Superior Court. The FIFA World Cup got another red card this past week when the Foxborough Select Board withheld the World Cup's entertainment license until it gets the $8 million it needs for security costs. The Kraft Group and Boston Soccer 26 say they are working together to make sure that Foxborough gets the funding it needs for security for its 7 World Cup games at Gillette Stadium, which will be known as Boston Stadium for the games. Boston Soccer 2026 wrote in a letter to Foxborough that the organization has $2 million in funds available and expects at least $30 million more from the government. The town of Foxborough has denied any progress has been made in recent negotiations. The Select Board wrote, "The town has been met at every turn with resistance from the Kraft Group and other event organizers. The World Cup matches remain less than 100 days away, and the deadline for the entertainment license for a friendly match later this month between Brazil and France at the stadium is March 17th. Thank you for tuning into Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more in entertainment and sports. The Massachusetts Breast Cancer Coalition is hosting its annual Against the Tide Swim, Run, and Walk fundraiser to support breast cancer prevention. The event brings together participants of all ages to raise awareness and funds through fitness and community participation. 2 in-person events are scheduled this summer. The first will take place Saturday, June 20th at Hopkinton State Park in Hopkinton. The second event will be held Saturday, June 27th at Nickerson State Park in Brewster on Cape Cod. Participants can also choose a virtual option anytime between June 20th and June 27th. Participants can take part in a variety of activities depending on their interests and ability level. Events include USATF certified 5 and 10 kilometer runs, a 1-mile competitive swim, half-mile and 1-mile recreational swims, and a 3-mile fitness walk. Registration for the event is open now. For more information or to sign up, visit nbcc.org/against-the-tide. Welcome back to Braintree Today. First, here's Chris Curran with sports.
After going 15-5 in the regular season, Braintree was given the 7th rank going into the playoffs. This led them to taking on 26-seeded Attleboro, who finished the season 9-13. They were one of 7 teams that made the postseason with a losing record. This was a game that Braintree controlled from the start. They went on an 18-0 run to start the first, which ended 24-7. Braintree's offense, with such a big lead, started to slow down in the second quarter, but their defense did not let up, ending the quarter 37-14. Both teams started to slow down in the third. Braintree held Attleboro to only 4 points while scoring 10. Going into the fourth, Braintree had a 29-point lead. They ended up keeping Attleboro at a distance, ultimately winning by 30 points. In the round of 16, Braintree took on 10th-seeded Billerica Memorial after they beat Ogunquit Regional High School. They came in with a very similar regular season record to Braintree. 2 of Billerica's losses came against 4th-seeded Andover. This game started as a defensive matchup. Braintree kept up their defense from the Attleboro game, full court pressing Billerica from the start. Both teams having multiple turnovers in the first, but both were not able to capitalize on many of them. The first quarter ended with Billerica in the lead by 2. But this was the only chance that Billerica had the entire game. Though Braintree looked like the more dominant team through the first, they did not take the lead until midway through the second. They came out of the second with the lead, 28-16. Braintree locked down on defense, only allowing 5 points through the second and most of the third. The score was 40-18 going into the fourth quarter. The final score of 45-33 does not do it justice to the defensive performance of Braintree. A lot of those 33 points came in the late fourth when the game was already put away.
Down the lane and Downing again with another block. Her third rejection.
Braintree then moved on to play 2nd-seeded Bishop Fian in the round of 8. Unfortunately, we do not have footage of this game, but Braintree ended up losing 53-44. This is the 3rd year in a row that Braintree has lost to a top 2 team in the playoffs. As for boys hockey, they made the playoffs as the 28th seed after finishing the regular season 6-12-2. They came into the round of 32 against 6th-seeded Reading Memorial, who went 16-3-2 in the regular season. This is a game that you would have thought of as being a landslide win for Reading on paper, but Braintree plays a hard regular season schedule which prepared them for the playoffs. Both goalies were making amazing saves throughout the game. Braintree's goalie was standing on his head with some of the saves he was making.
Trying to save! What a save by Barron!
Though Braintree ended up losing in heartbreaking fashion after a beautiful goal from a Reading forward who dangled through the defense to get a one-on-one opportunity with the goalie, putting the puck top shelf over the goalie's shoulder in overtime.
Barry coming in for Steve Perry, son of goal!
As for the girls hockey team, they came into the playoffs as the 24th seed after going 9-7-4 in the regular season. This put them against North Andover, the 9th seed, who went 14-2-4. This game did not end well for Braintree. They ended up losing 5-1. Though this is a big step from where they were a year prior, going 2-18-1, we hope they can take another step as big as this one in the upcoming season. That brings the winter season to an end in Braintree. We look forward to March 27th for the start of the spring season. Now let's send it back to Sarah in the studio.
Thanks, Chris. Now here's some new movies and shows that have been creating some social buzz. First, Hamnet follows William Shakespeare and his wife Agnes, who celebrate the birth of their son Hamnet. However, when tragedy strikes and Hamnet dies at a young age, it inspires Shakespeare to write his timeless masterpiece, Hamlet. The film stars Paul Mescal and Jessie Buckley. You can watch Hamnet now on Peacock. Up next, In the Blink of an Eye, weaves 3 storylines across thousands of years to explore human connection, love, and sacrifice. The narratives include a Neanderthal family in 45,000 BC, a modern-day researcher in a 25th century space mission. The film stars Kate McKinnon and Rashida Jones. You can watch In the Blink of an Eye now on Disney+. Finally, It Was Just an Accident follows Vahid, a former political prisoner who kidnaps a man he believes to be his former torturer, Peg Leg. As Vahid and fellow survivors debate seeking vengeance, the film explores trauma and the cycle of violence in an authoritarian society. The film stars Vahid Mobaseri and Mariam Afshari. You can watch It Was Just an Accident now on Hulu. That'll do it for news today. Don't forget, Verizon customers can watch BCAM TV in high definition on channel 2128 and Comcast on channel 1073. I'm Sarah Hamilton, and thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll see you next time.